Say, man, for those select few that are already initiated, you should already know what's coming next. And for those of you that aren't, just chill. You see, we're gonna get to that other shit in a minute. But first, everything is vibration. So what we gonna do is just vibe. And at the making of this recording, it's 4:20, and the moon is in Leo. So I'm gonna let my man hang. Don't hate. Leo moon, that's a special time for me, man. If y'all didn't get the memo already, my mama was a Leo moon. My nana was a Leo moon. You know what I'm saying? I got Mercury and Venus in Leo in the 10th house. So I feel that shit to the max. It's about that time, man, for you to open up your ear and let me crawl into your mind. One time. If your shit ain't this luxurious, don't worry, you can get there. You can get there. I got a light shining through me, man. What else I gotta do? Let my soul glow. I'm gonna enjoy myself. I don't give a damn what nobody has to say about it. You can fast forward. Shit finna get real, though. Cause you fucking with the right one. I spit hot fire. Say, man, what it was, y'all. Y'all should know who it is. If not, here I go. And y'all tuned in with Priceless Knowledge yourself. And this right here, this ain't shit but some cosmic insight, man. And hey, man, I just want to know how everybody's feeling, man. Because if you got this placement we finna talk about, you can't hide it. Because this right here, this a little something about those people that have the moon in the first house of their natal chart. Yeah. And before we actually get to that, y'all should already know my style. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to give y'all a quick breakdown as to what the moon is all about, you know, especially the moon in the houses and what that energy is all about and how it might affect you. Then after that, I'm going to give y'all a little quick breakdown of what the first house of the astrological chart is actually all about. Then after that, we're going to bring it to a culmination. So without wasting any more time, man, let's go ahead and get it cracking, okay? So the moon. This is your instinctive awareness. This is your emotional nature. This is how you feel inside. You know, in Vedic astrology, people talk about, you know, it's the mind. But I just really think it's who you are internally. And being the closest celestial body in relation to Earth and the whole entire solar system, you know, it has the strongest effect on our moods and personality on the day-to-day basis, man. You know, the moon, it controls the earth tides and the waters of the earth. And the earth is 65 to 70% water. Well, your body is also 65 to 70% fluid. So think about the effect it has on you. it has an effect, man. And, you know, a lot of people, they're not going to see the moon part of you, you know, your moon sign or even the house that it's in, because your moon is kind of reserved for those who know you best. Pardon me. The rising is going to be how you come across. You know, the sun is the whole thing in a culmination. And we talking about the moon in the houses, man. You know, the moon in the houses can reveal how and where we go about seeking emotional security and satisfaction. You know, looking at the house position of the moon, we can really find an important clues to the reasons why, you know, we might have any perpetual emotional unrest in our lives, which that could take the forms of constant changes or just ups and downs in the area of life by whatever house she's in. Okay. And, you know, it's in these areas that we should really try to make deep attachments rather than superficial and temporary emotional thrills if we're seeking out a true feeling of belonging and emotional fulfillment. Okay. And like, I could go so much further because the moon, man, the moon is everything for us here on earth. Don't ever get it twisted, man. The moon is everything. You need to always pay attention to what's going on with the moon in your natal chart, in transit, and everything. And maybe that's just because I'm a Cancer and I'm saying that. But hey, don't hate. So when we talking about the first house of the astrological chart, man, you know, the first house in astrology is known as the house of self. And the cusp of the first house, this is where the ascendant lives, which is, you know, the sign that was rising in the east at the exact moment of your birth. And, you know, through thinking in these terms of sunrise and new beginnings, you can kind of start to grasp the concept of the first house, man. You know, here new beginnings are centered on the individual self and the voyage of discovery that defines each one of us. Okay. And who are you? You know, what will you become? How can you realize your best self? You know, the first house speaks about how you are a unique individual in this existence, man. Real talk. The first house contains our appearance, you know, our apparent personality and our preferred approach to life, really. And it's the outer vessel, but not the sum of one's total being, okay? And it's the package that we kind of outwardly project to the world. And the first house also represents the physical body, and in particular, the head and the face. And the first house also rules over our early childhood and our adolescence in a way. And in some, you know, the first house really speaks to the vehicle we use to get to the person that we're trying to become, man. And that's both internally and externally, man. It addresses our personality and our presentation to the physical world, our demeanor and our approach to life, man. Like, that's the first. So, you know, when we talk about having the moon in the first house, man, let me light my shit. All right. When we talking about having the moon in the first house, man, the first thing that you always got to know about this one, and especially this one in particular, there's other ways that this could hit, but, you know, is that it fosters a really high degree of emotional and psychological self-awareness. But at the same time, it could really make it can make shit a lot more difficult for these people, you know, to keep their emotions in check. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you got this person that wears their emotions on their sleeves and they're aware of their thoughts and their emotions, but at the same time, like being aware and being in control are two different ends of the spectrum. Okay. And, you know, this is somebody, like I said, that wears their heart on their sleeve. And this is somebody that, you know, with the moon in the first, the fact of the matter is, their inner world of this individual is much closer to the surface than, you know, the rest of the people, man. And, you know, it's at a much more accessible level of their awareness than a lot of people are. And that, like I said, just because it's there, that doesn't mean that you're in control of it. That's something that has to be learned and developed over time and with maturity, I believe. And some people are born with this natural self-control. And hey, more power to them. But for me, man, that's something else. You know, motherfuckers with this placement, man, they kind of come across as pretty emotionally dynamic, man. Swinging from moments of somber moodiness all the way to, you know, exuberant goofiness too. You know what I'm saying? And they go through these emotional states of flux that either end up fucking supercharging them to, you know, take to action or completely sapping them of all their motivation whatsoever. And it goes both ways at different times, man. And sometimes it goes both ways in the same day or in the same hour color and shit, man. On another note, man, I've also observed that most people with their moon here in the first, man, they tend to come across on the more thoughtful, on the more sensitive and sincere side than a lot of people do. And whether they're comfortable enough to openly admit it or not, you know, a lot of males with this placement, they kind of exhibit, you know, a lot stronger feminine qualities and attachments to their mother than, you know, some other guys would. And actually, either way, I'm going to tell you, male or female, you know, having this lunar placement is going to greatly enhance a lot of those feminine qualities, man, in both character and appearance. Okay. And because it really just adds this extra touch of voluptuousness in females, man. It really does. And another thing is, you know, I want to implore this something that's really important to me, man. And that's that these folks' inner child, it never really goes away. It never really goes away. And they are another example of people who often, you know, kind of maintain a quite youthful spirit throughout their whole entire lives, no matter what they go through. You know what I'm saying? So in turn, when you have this youthful spirit, you know, you don't age outwardly because you look young, you feel exuberant. Okay. And at the same time, you know, many of those with this moon placement are pretty introverted too. That's something to take note of. And they're really protective of their privacy. But because of how engaging and expressive they can be, you know, they often come across a lot more extroverted and outgoing than they really are, which that can cause some issues when they're put in these positions because they really desire a lot by themselves and, you know, they try to be protective of their privacy. But when you have these emotions that you wear on your sleeve and you're just expressive like this, people tend to think, oh no, this person here is an extrovert. And so that's a lot of problem with people moon in the first house and a lot of Cancer risings are going to have to go through in their life, man. And it's not something that's terribly hard to deal with. You get what I'm saying? But it is something that you're going to have to work and struggle to get over with a little bit. And looking even deeper than that, man, you know, I could say that underlying insecurities and this desire to be recognized, you know, and also admired, like they want to be admired, not just recognized. They want to be admired by others. It's often a strong factor in their motivations. And cause of that, let me also warn you that rejection, like it can be fucking utterly devastating to these people. Real talk, man. And a lot of the time it can push them to start overcompensating in order to, you know, prove themselves and, you know, kind of validate, you know, their own self-worth inside of them, which is a motherfucker. And, you know, that's a heavy bag to tote. I'm going to let you know right off the rip. And with first house moon, man, you know, there's this desire to be true to who they feel themselves to be. And, you know, and to express themselves honestly, man. And the nature of the moon is also associated with change and sometimes with irrationality, man. And consequently, you know, whatever emotional issues these people might be going through or inner turmoil, you know, it's going to show, man. You know what I'm saying? It's likely will also pose a really significant impact on shaping and reshaping their self-image, man, because the things they go through and overcome is what helps build these people up. You know what I'm saying? Some people are strong regardless, but these people, like, a lot of times they don't know until they feel it. You know what I'm saying? And they just feel their way through life. You know? And sometimes, you know, it works out great, and sometimes it hurts. But pain can teach you a lesson too, man. And they eventually learn that. Man. Sometimes with, you know, those motherfuckers with moon in the first, they can appear kind of erratic and illogical and hypersensitive too. But it's just because they tend to operate based on feeling and act on whatever their mood compels them to do. So yeah, to that degree, they can kind of be pretty impulsive and unpredictable. And the thing is, man, you know, they're extremely instinctive. And while they're outside and while, you know, their thought process might seem sensible to them, pardon me, you know, to outside observers, you know, it can kind of be hard to understand. But what is it for you to understand where somebody else and how they navigate through life? That's the problem, is being worried about what the fuck the next motherfucker thinks. And even if they're not worried about it, why are you worried about how they're navigating through life if it's not hurting or affecting you? That's a trip. You get what I'm saying? That's just a trip, man. And, you know, the rhyme and reasoning behind a lot of the shit that they do, man, you know, that's their business. You know, who the fuck are we to judge anybody at the end of the day, for me to tell you? And, you know, their intuition, when we're talking about somebody with moon in the first house, this is what has got them this far in life. So why not rock with it? Why not rock with it? Because I guarantee you, they felt their way through this far in life, and their intuition is not something to doubt, and is not something to be played with either. Understand that, man. And just to sum this one up, man, the first house moon people, they kind of have a really strong desire to understand themselves and find a way to allow the contents of their inner world to just find expression in the outer world. And when the moon is placed in the first, man, you know, it makes people's thoughts and feelings, you know, play a more conscious part in how they, you know, orient themselves in this world, man. And they pay attention to how they feel, because they have no choice, man. And they kind of really seek to integrate their inner selves in such a way that their words and actions are more consistent, and, you know, and their emotional balance and, you know, and contentment kind of rely heavily on how and what their inner world is going on with, man. And so they got to learn how to trust their choices, man. And if you can't learn how to trust your choice when you got moon in the first house, what you gonna do, man? That's a big thing, man. Don't doubt yourself, because I've also seen that a lot of people with moon in the first house, you know, they have this struggle because their instinct is so strong that sometimes it takes their brain a little bit to catch up. So they have to try to pull in the reins. But unfortunately, once that motherfucking emotional tidal wave is going, you know what I'm saying? The tsunami's got to hit before anything else. And it's all cool, though. Because just because you built like that, you don't have to build like that. It don't matter where you have your moon at. It don't matter where you have Mars at. It don't matter where you have Venus at, Neptune, Uranus. Just because you build like that, you don't have to build like that. We have all of this energy available to us in all of our charts. What you do with it is what you do with it. And even beyond that, it ain't about what you do. It's about how you do it. Okay? And that's some priceless knowledge in itself. This been some priceless knowledge of self, man. I appreciate all the love and support, man. If y'all are interested in the astrological readings whatsoever, you can either hit me up in the comments below, or you can email me at mr.turner1300@gmail.com. Okay? Hey, I love everybody, man. Don't forget to hit that like button, share this motherfucker, hit that bell icon so you can get notified when I drop some new shit. Hey, man. This shit is just growing exponentially, and I'm just so proud. And, you know, I'm so enlightened. I'm so inspired, and, you know, I'm full of love for all of y'all, man. I appreciate everything. Y'all keep it real till I come back in a minute with a little something about those people that have their moon in the 8th house of their natal chart. So we're going to go there in a minute. We'll talk about it.